It's become something of a cliche to say we live in an overly sexualized culture. But for many young people growing up today, to be able to discern this is difficult because they've known nothing else. Those of us in older age can see the difference in the culture around us. Yes, sex was always used in advertising to sell things and promote movies, but never has there been a time in our culture where sex is pushed, where people are exposed to sexual images to such a degree. And for young people particularly, this is very dangerous. They're exposed to this stuff long before they're able to make an informed choice, to think through what the proper attitude to be towards sex. And of course their impulses, their desires are stimulated by these images before they can consciously start thinking through what the right way to live is. So it's important that then we reflect a little on sex itself and try to question what the right attitude should be for Christians. Well, of course, many people imagine that the Christian church has a very negative view of sex. And I think this is possibly because many speakers are reacting against this overly sexualized culture, and so it comes across as negative. But in reality, the Christian church teaches that sex is a great blessing, a great gift from God, but a blessing within marriage. This is the only and rightful place for sexual activity. All sexual activity outside of marriage is fornication. Fornication is a sin, and it is harmful both to the body and to the soul. It is destructive. It distorts both our soul and the way that we perceive other people. Now, sadly, many young people are misinformed, even lied to, about abstinence before marriage. When I go into schools and I speak to young lads as young as 11 years old, they talk openly about their access to pornography on the internet. And it strikes me that they are probably exposed to more images of a pornographic nature at the age of 11 than many older people will have seen in their entire lives. And so I say to them, do you, or would you in a perfect world, want to marry a woman who had not had sex with anyone else but you? And most young men say that's what they want. And so I say to them, well then, why don't you make the choice to remain faithful to that woman now? Perhaps you've met her. Perhaps it's some woman you have not yet met, living in the world that you will one day marry. Make a choice to be faithful to that woman you will marry now, even before you have met her. And to the girls, to hold on to their virginity, that they may give it as a gift to their future husband. Now, sadly, many couples, when they're married, they don't enter into this marriage with this experience. Many people in our culture have been promiscuous. So the advice I would give is, if that's your case, enter into the marriage without inquiring, without asking your partner about their sexual past. Don't delve into it. Once you get together and get married, walk away from the past. Let it be washed away. Let it be a new beginning. Come together as virgins in the heart. We make that marriage about forsaking all others. Let that promise to forsake all others not only mean those that we may be attracted to, but any activity that has gone on in our partner's previous life. And the Christian advice to be chaste is for both married and single people. We can remain chaste in our marriage when we remain faithful to our spouse. Faithful, yes, not just in body, but in our mind too. That we do not harbour lust for other people. A great blessing that is marriage is shown to us in the lives of Joachim and Anna. Through their marriage, the world had the fruit of the Theotokos, the Mother of God, who was born to them. And single people, the Virgin Mother of God becomes a model, not only for monastics, but for all single people. A life of chastity. Because many people are misinformed about what abstinence means. In fact, abstinence is incredibly healthy, not only for the body, but for the mind and the spirit. We learn to discipline ourselves. We learn a right attitude towards people of the opposite sex. We don't carry into our marriages a way of being, a way of life that is destructive and negative and dangerous. Dangerous not only to us personally and to that other person and our relationship, but to our family. We must learn self-control. Either the body or the soul will be master and the other will be slave. Let us make the soul the master of the body. Let the body serve the soul for salvation. We are a whole person, not separate soul and body, but as one we are saved. Our theosis, our change, our becoming Christ-like must be in body and soul. And what we do with the body is crucial. Let us live a life of abstinence then before we get married. But of course temptation visits all of us, every one of us, and physical desires can be very powerful. Young men, particularly when their hormones are stirring and perhaps they haven't thought through what their attitude to sex will be, they may act on impulse. It's reassuring that those impulses will become easier to control as we get older, but they never leave us. And if we live a life where we train ourselves to control these impulses, to direct them in the God-given way, then they become truly a blessing. But let us not turn what is a gift from God, a blessing from God, let us not turn this into something that can be destructive and remove our hope of salvation.